out the Ducks post-game show on the Halos in the Infield Network with Todd and Don. Drive home safely, and we'll see you next game.
We will see you next game as we start off the second half after a wonderful, wonderful Olympic Games where the United States, yes, USA gets the W. No matter your political affiliation, man, you got to root for the home team. The home team got the gold, and it was nice and sweet. Jackson Lacombe was a part of the team, so you could feel a little proud. And they come home to the Honda Center, continue that long home stand. And they had a tough task tonight with the Edmonton Oilers, who last time we played were very physical, had that real big period where they just poured it on. And, despite that, we lost 7-4. There were some takeaways there, but bad defense. And you felt like maybe the Ducks were, learned something from that loss with, the Edmonton Oilers being one of the Pacific Division leaders. So you felt that, and you hope that the Ducks learned something from that and would turn it around here in the second half. It was a big, tall task for Dostal and the Ducks to start off and kick off the second half technically, even though the majority of the games have been played. But that's on the NHL. Anyway, with that being said, it didn't start good tonight, but in a night where you got Coach Q winning his 1,000th hockey game as a head coach in the NHL, very historic for him and his family that were there. But the team itself, he was very excited. I was watching a little bit of the post game. I wanted to get a few of his words in. And see where his thoughts were. Obviously, he's going to say the right things. He said this was one of the best games, and it really was. Coming off a hockey high of not, and how can I be, how can I show so much disrespect without mentioning the females, the women? The women showed up and got their gold too. So not only did you get the men getting the gold and breaking the curse, only having since the Miracle on Ice, the last time the U.S. team winning the gold, but you had the women winning in a phenomenal overtime game over Canada. Fuck Canada. I love it. They lose to both men and women's in hockey. And then to top it off, Connor McDavid comes in here fresh off the Canada loss, and all those Canadian fans, they're all bitter saying, oh, the best team didn't win and blah, blah, blah. Shut the hell up. Excuses. You know how much they were rubbing it in our face last year with the Four Nations, and guess what? The U.S. gets to respond to that twice over, male and female, getting the job done. And then your Ducks. Connor McDavid comes in here trying to pick himself up and he's licking his salty tears because of everything. And the Ducks give him a 6-5 loss. And what an exciting game. The Ducks were down twice by 2 goals and came back. And again, showing the resiliency that they've shown all season long. And to pick it up right where they left off is amazing because, again, we talked about this before we went off the air, before the Olympics started, that there was going to be some big games out the gate to start the second half, and it's going to define where this team finishes ultimately in the postseason. And now, currently with tonight's standings, they are 31-23-3, 65 points, 5 points back of Vegas because the Kings had one job to do and couldn't get it done tonight as the Kings go down to Vegas, and Vegas would get the W, and they would extend those points. Boo Bear's mommy checking in saying, guess who's back? Yes, it's not Eminem, it's her. She makes her appearance here to the Ducks post-game show. How you doing, girl? As she's usually an Angels regular, but she's on here talking about the Ducks. Yeah, Capsule saying, what a fucking game. Dimitro, let's freaking go. Quack, quack right there. You got Eat Me Connor. Yes, USSA for sure. The Catella Never Say Die Ducks. Jesus right there. A lot of regulars checking in. Also, you got Jesus saying, go Ducks. I'm pumped up about the Anaheim Ducks soon here right now. And a lot of heart when they're tough to beat, Jesus says. And this is a resilient hockey team that we saw again tonight. And again, when you go down early, and the last time these two teams met, Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers up in Edmonton played very physical. And I was trying to see, for the most part, between, I'd say, midway through the first period, almost to the third period, the Ducks were the more intense, physical. They were the team that was constantly, which with the Ducks, they have their spurts. They really do. Sometimes the Ducks are very passive and they're playing on their heels and they're just trying to get the puck out of their zone and they're having a hard time clearing the puck, or they're having a hard time entering the blue line and the other side of the hockey rink, or the opponent's blue line, sorry. And they're just having a hard time getting time of possession. And then there's times where, it's 50-50, but there's rare times where the Ducks can put together a good, just keep drilling the other team's goalie, keep pushing and pushing that pressure. They could do it in spurts, but it's rare when it's maintained and it's continual. And then tonight, it just felt like that. It just felt like they were continuing to put the pressure. Now, granted, they made some mistakes, which led to some mistakes and goals on the other side. However, it was more of a clean game than you would think, than the stats would say. And like I said, the Ducks were just in their time of possession was way up. They were in their opponent's zone. It was very, very fun to watch tonight. And let's talk about the scoring tonight, as the Ducks would ultimately outshoot the Edmonton Oilers 29-27. 10 penalty minutes. I felt the Ducks did the best they could in trying to capitalize on those chances, because they were given opportunities in this game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it one bit. The Ducks did get their opportunities, and they took advantage when they got them, which was great to see. But the goals started early here, and you want to talk about early. First shot of the game, 13 seconds in, Jack Rosloff, his 16th from Matt Sylvain, and Daniel Nurse, his 12th assist, and it was 1-0 out to shoot. So right away, again, you're not even sitting down. Most Ducks fans tonight, although we're very loud and very proud and excited tonight, sort of a playoff atmosphere at Honda Center, that first goal that went in, most of them were probably still getting their food at the concession stands when that goal started. But it was 1-0, and then Ryan Nugent Hopkins, his 14th assisted from Connor McDavid, his 63rd assist of the year. Matt Savine would get his second assist, 11th of the year, 2-0. So in the first 9 minutes, the Ducks were outplayed. It seemed from that moment onward, for a good period and a half, you had a steady shot of shots at the Edmonton goalie, and they were able to continue to pressure and put the puck on net. And just a minute later, it started with Ian Moore, who just took a slap shot off a rebound, or I think it was a pass that got away from somebody, went behind the boards, came right to Ian Moore. He just took a slap shot as he was closing in on the goalie from his glove side, and it found the net, and it was assisted from Jansen Harkins, his third, Ross Johnston, his 11th. It was Ian Moore's third goal, and right away it's 2-1. So you went to the second period feeling okay, 2-1. Let's stay within a goal. Not bad, not bad. Second period comes out. The Ducks continue to pressure. 3 minutes into the second period, Alex Killhorn assisted from, yes, that man, Leo Carlson. Uncle Carl is back. Uncle Leo, his 27th of the year as assist. Killhorn's 8th goal. McTavish would get in on the point scoring with his 18th, and we got a new hockey game. It's 2-2, but not so fast, guys. As the Ducks were playing really good towards the end of the second period is where it kind of unraveled, because, again, 2-2, you're feeling that if we got to the third period, tied at 2, you like our chances. I sure as hell did, because it was 2-2. But again, not so fast, Ducks fans. The Edmonton Oilers decided to get a goal, not just one, but 2 goals at the end of the second period. Zach Hyman, his 23rd. It's crazy last name. I kind of laughed and chuckled when he said Hyman. His 23rd of the year, and then you got Elkholm, his 22nd assist, and Bouchard, his 49th assist. 3-2, and then you're like, damn it, Dostal. But that one got through. It was 3-2. And then before you could recoup from that one, maybe you were like, okay, let me beat the fans to the concession stands, or let me use the restroom because basically the second period's over, whatever, right? You look up and all of a sudden, shit. Bouchard, 16th of the year, assist from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, his 33rd assist, and then Connor McDavid chips in his 64th assist, and it's 4-2. So right there, you're like, damn it, the Canadians are probably going to get this one, man. They're up 4-2. That's what you would think. That's what you would think as a Ducks fan, maybe last year's way of thinking about how the Ducks played, or a few years ago, or, but this team's different. This team, like Jesus says, has this thing called heart. And they just don't have that give up mentality, or like, hey, let's hit the reset button. We'll play for tomorrow, or we'll play for Friday. They just don't have that. They seem to play a lot better. And guess who gets them out the gate to start the third period? Yeah, that guy, the guy we've been missing for over a month, Leo Carlson. Uncle Leo comes through with his 19th of the year, assist from Trouba, his 17th. And that guy, Chris Kreider, gets involved again. And all of a sudden, a minute 30 into the third period, it's 4-3. So as you sit down, you have your Coke or whatever you're drinking in the stands, or you're having your beer, and you're like, all right, we're back in it 4-3. Maybe in the next few minutes, we could nod this sucker up in the second half of the third period. Maybe it's a dogfight to see if we could get to overtime, or we could win it in regulation. No, Zellweger says, I'm going to tie this bitch up right away. And he does. Just over a minute and 25 seconds later, his 7th of the season, assist from Gudis, his 10th, and Troy Terry. My guy, Scary Terry, is also back. He gets his 32nd assist of the year, and it's 4-4. But just as we celebrated and got excited and everything else like that, not 3 minutes would go by when you had that guy again, that a-hole, Mr. Matt Savvy, or whatever the hell you say his name. I'm butcher the road guys a lot. On the power play after the Ducks made a mistake, Vasily Potsklin, his 14th assist, Elkholm, his 23rd assist, but Salvini, or whatever his name is, Salvine, his 10th goal of the year, his 3rd point of the night. It was 5-4 Edmonton. You're like, damn it, we worked so hard to tie this sucker up, and we're down again. But don't you worry, Ducks fans, because just a minute later, this is a back-and-forth game. What a hell of a game. Beckett Seneca, that youngster, that kid was fighting with everybody tonight. I loved it. The Ducks were pushed around a lot in Edmonton prior to the break. It was kind of frustrating, but Beckett Seneca remembered. And Beckett Seneca was having a night tonight. Not much in the up until this point, till he got that goal, but you saw the way he was playing. He was poke checking, playing good defense, hitting guys. I mean, he got away with a couple cross checks. Let's just be honest, but he was kicking ass and taking names tonight, and that was awesome. And he's like, you know what? I have done everything tonight except score. So then he changed that up with his 19th of the year, assist from Jackson Lacombe, Mr. USA himself. We got a brand new game. It's 5-5. And then talk about the right place at the right time. As the game is winding down, you think, man, this is destined for overtime. This may get a 3-on-3 USA kind of Canada feel, where they win it on 3-on-3 hockey, or maybe, just maybe, we go to a shootout and the Ducks are just really, really good on the shootout, and they win in a shootout, something like that. You're positive at this point. You're like, yes, I feel good about this team. It's 5-5. This is right where we want them. And the Ducks are like, that sounds great. Overtime's awesome and everything, but we're just tired. We don't want to win. We don't want to win in overtime. We don't want to have to go through a shootout. Let's just fucking win it in regulation. Okay, let's do it. So they did. Cutter Gauthier, that guy, his 26th of the season. Uncle Leo's like, here you go, buddy. Here's my 28th. Kreider comes through with a 13th, and what you know, baby, 1846 of the third period, the Ducks put the Oilers to sleep. And and the Ducks win, and it's just like that. Big 6-5, 2 points coming out the gate. I thought that the Ducks broadcasters brought it up good on Victory Plus tonight, where Coach Q talked about these games all matter going down the stretch. You got 25 to 26 games. I think it's 25 after this. You gotta try to get points out of most, if not all of them. But if you would like to at least get points out of 85%, you're going to take a couple losses. Yes, you're not going to go undefeated. You're not going to get a point in every game, and you're not the Avalanche. But we feel, and I feel now more than ever, even prior to this game, that the Ducks are going to be a team of destiny. They control their own destiny. This is a team that can win any night against any team. And, they will have a night where Dostal just doesn't look like Dostal. He'll have an off night like tonight, but the team will pick him up. And then there will be nights where the Ducks just get enough offense, 2-1 or 1-0, and Dostal will look like a freaking playoff hockey goalie. That's just who they are. That's how they play. They play kind of reckless in the defensive end, whether it's guys missing assignments or over pursuing in the blue line, leaving wide open, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, going back the other way. Odd man rushes is what I was looking for. The Ducks are going to have to clean some of that up. But as we've watched the team so far, that too goes in spurts. Some nights it looks like they've learned from their mistakes, and other nights you're like, damn, you're just going back to the well doing the same shit. But that's what you're going to get with a young hockey team. So I preach to you tonight, have patience in this hockey team. Enjoy this hockey team. You don't understand if you're not paying attention too much, or you're just getting into hockey, the casual fan lights turned on for you, or if you've been hardcore, you got to have patience with a team like this that's this young, with a coach like this that's this experienced. At some point, the gap between experience, talent, veteran, and rookie will get closer and closer and closer. But for right now, we just got to do what we can to watch this team get whatever wins they can, because they are capable of beating any team at any night. They are also capable of blowing games. It's just who they are, but it's going to be a wild ride. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And games like this, I have a feeling this is not going to be the last one that we're going to be going back and forth and celebrating and getting super duper excited or frustrated. Either way, we're going to be in our feels as we get going. You got Landon jumping in here saying Stanley Cup champions. Hold on, hold your horses, man. It's a little early for that. I don't think that one. Badass win for Coach Q. Will Collins says right there. Also, the Ducks will make the playoffs. I don't know about the Stanley Cup. Anything can happen once you get there. You know that. But I will say that I'm with you. And when it comes to the playoffs, I do believe this team's going to get there. I don't know what seed, but I know they're going to get there. Oilers remind me of the 2019 Angels. Wow. Landon says, dude, are the Anaheim team, the Ducks, the only ones to get their championship or capable of it? Well, if you have to compare the Angels with the Ducks, of course, the Ducks have a better opportunity. Oilers remind me of the 2019 Halos, 2 generational talents and a bunch of scrubs. But the thing is that different with that one, Manny, is the fact that the Ducks, they literally have two, they've been to 2 Stanley Cups. They've been on the cusp of winning it. The Angels, it's a little easier. I wouldn't say extremely easy with those 2 generational talents to get there in hockey as it is in the NBA. But I will say, when you need a complete team when it comes to baseball, or you need a well-rounded roster, and the Angels haven't had that in years. Yes, they had Ohtani, yes, they had Trout, but how many times were they healthy at the same time? How many years did they have no pitching? At least the Oilers had, complimentary players like Corey Perry. They had good goaltending, good defensemen, and they got there. They just choked it away, in my opinion. Brooks says, let's see, McCunnups loses again. Feels so good. Hell yeah. Jesus says, let's go Ducks. Todd Fox, this year's Anaheim Ducks gives me 2002 Anaheim Angels vibes. Let's fucking go. Let's see. Again, you get there, you ride the hot goalie if he's hot, or the hot offense, because you're going to need goaltending, and we're going to need Dostal to be at his absolute best. Let's see, laugh out loud, make no cups. Yep. That's, and I slaughtered that one. My bad. Right there, Brooke. Also, Ducks are the only hope for Anaheim. Yes, you got right there. It's all about the Anaheim Ducks. Nate checks in with diehard Sabres fans here. What's up, Nate? I'm glad to have you a part of the show. Spread the word. We do post games of the Ducks, and we will talk some other hockey and mix it in depending on the news and stuff like that. So appreciate that. Since Artie doesn't want to make the Angels good team, so the Ducks will be the only team to bring a championship back. And right now they're taking care of their fans in the OC vibe as well. Connor McDavid is rich and has a smoking wife. I don't feel bad for that fool. Uncle Nico from Uncle Leo. I like that one. Bring the thongs out, J Ram says. It's also a pro thong. I don't know if I don't want to what is it called? I don't want to get back into that thong story. Not at all. Boo Bears Money says I had to turn the game off. I was getting so frustrated. Good thing I did, because look at what happened. I turned it back on, and right away I hear the winning goal. Well, I mean, if you're superstitious, why not, right? Also, the Olympics brought out the fight in the Ducks. Jess says, who farted? I have no idea. Nate says, going to Honda Center to see my Sabres play the Ducks. And that's the one thing I will say about the Ducks again. It's not like that. I from what I've heard with the Kings as well, when visitors come to the Honda Center, unless you're going to start a fight with the Ducks fans, it's very extremely rare when Ducks fans talk shit or just a-holes to visiting opponents. Usually, like tonight, there was a lot of Edmonton Oiler fans in the stands. You could definitely see the blue mixed in with the orange and the old Ducks jerseys, but you didn't have that, that vibe where, fans, obviously you're not going to have fights and stuff like that. NHL hockey fans is as rough as the game is, as physical as the game is. For the most part, you're going to enjoy yourself at a hockey game, at least locally here. Ducks will make a run in the playoffs and go all the way. Man, I'm telling you, this team has a lot of people excited. Demetrio says you're honking your honk right there. David Ross says Anaheim Ducks will win the stand. See, you got multiple people already on there. See, also, Todd, what will you do if the Ducks are in the playoffs and the Angels, when the Angels season is underway? I'm going to talk Ducks. I mean, we do both, Ducks and Angels post-game shows on here. We do Ducks podcasts as well. So we'll be covering the Ducks till the last time that they're playing or dropping the puck. We'll be doing probably watch parties at Noble or other establishments. Just depends on how the season goes, man. But we're going to stick it out with the Ducks all year. It's not like we're going to stop recording or, reporting on the Ducks just because the Angels season starts. I mean, obviously Ducks hockey postseason takes priority. So that'll probably interrupt multiple games. I have a feeling, but it is what it is, man. I mean, look, this is what, if you're an Anaheim fan or a SoCal native or a SoCal fan, and the Angels and Ducks are your favorite, or just, hey, the Ducks are your favorite hockey team and you really don't have a baseball team, and it is what it is, and that's fine too. But you're going to be hyped up for the postseason. I mean, there's literally nothing like, if you're a hockey purist, if you're just a casual, NHL hockey postseason is unlike regular season. I think the closest thing you could talk about how NHL hockey postseason is the Olympics or Four Nations. If you've seen that over the last 2 years, that is how good hockey can be. There's a difference between regular season hockey where, okay, certain teams will dump a puck in and then just all fade back and do a real light, or do a heavy shift change, and all of them get off the ice at the same time. Or, there's just not, there's not guys that are going to go gung ho into the opponent's scoring area if they're too tired, if their shift has gone too long. You see extended shifts, you see harder hitting, you see guys laying it all out on the line, diving for pucks, swinging with their sticks as they're sliding on the ice to get the puck out the zone to give their defense. I mean, everything just means more. Everything is magnified more. All those passes that you could probably get away with in the regular season, in a hostile environment that may draw an icing, you don't do those in the postseason. You don't, unless you really have to take a chance. You kind of like, you have to play smarter, you have to play harder, and you have to know your P's and Q's. You have to be running the exact plays. You have to have the timing. It all matters. And I think that's why people appreciate postseason hockey as I do, because it's going to be exciting. And this is the exciting part for me and for you that are real Ducks fans that have been there all this time as much as me, and then all the other casual fans, or maybe the Ducks fans that have been deterred because, yeah, man, the last 7 years have been rough. There's been rebuilds. There's been Pat Verbeek under fire, but all of a sudden, between the Samuelis and Verbeek and the rest of the roster and the AHL team, the goals, and now the youth movement, Coach Q, there was a buzz about this season before it started, and then as it's gone on and on, you kind of bring up that hey, this team's never say die. It's going to be really fun. Let's see what happens. I kept saying, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. If the wins continue to go, they're continuing to beat good opponents. Now you just got to beat down the bad opponents, because that's I feel between the defensive lapses at times, the penalties have been cleaned up pretty good. The offense is really good. The goaltending can use a little work. But my biggest thing now is when you play teams that are terrible like Calgary, Vancouver, Columbus, and stuff like that, beat them. Those are the wins that you need the most going down the stretch. So, that's sorry, it was a long-winded comment right there, but I just feel like this team is going to be something to watch. And when we get to the postseason, which we haven't talked about a lot, it's going to be a hell of a time. It's going to be really fun. We're going to be able to celebrate together, whether this team wins or loses in the postseason. And if they eventually go down, you got to look at it like this. They're going to get some playoff experience. Guys who have never been there before are going to be hungry to return. And in hockey, that's what happens. When you get your feet wet, when you get in the postseason, you're like, damn it, I don't want to have this feeling again. I want to hoist that cup. I want to ignore the Pacific Conference championship trophy. Just take that obligatory real quick snapshot and then be like, okay, it's on to the Stanley Cup. You want to get there at some point. And getting to the postseason, step one, and then establishing yourself as not just a pesky hockey team in Anaheim. You want to establish yourself as the place to go and a dangerous place to play in. And Honda Center is getting harder and harder and harder to play at. So I love it. The Ducks are really stringing together some good hockey right here. Demetrio says, really starting to like Ian Moore on the third pairing. He had I think he was on the fourth line tonight. Anaheim Angels will come back. I hope so. Also, you got Kate Lee in the car saying, do you think the Ducks are safe and affordable? I wouldn't say they're affordable. They're definitely safe. Their stadium's much nicer, and it's going to get better because the Samuelis are pouring a shit ton of money into that facility. I've never tripped and fell at that place. That place is pretty nice. So, yes, the Ducks are very safe, but they don't really care about that. Their top five has winning at number one, as our good friend would say. Capsule says, did you actually wear a thong, Todd Fox? Yes, I did. Last year, the moon came out during the day in my studio as I was covering the Angels. I said, if the Angels get back to 500, which at the time they were 8 games under, I thought, no way in hell. So I came on here and I did a Roger Lodge type of bet and said, hey, I'll wear a thong if the Angels can get back to 500. And I didn't think it had a chance in hell. And then right when I made that stupid bet, they won 8 straight games and got to 500. And then I had to show my white cheeks live on the podcast. So, and it's, if so, how come it never went? But they tried to make it viral. Randy made a whole video on it and everything. That was terrible. One Thing's Perfect says, thanks for beating the Coilers from a Canucks fan. And sorry for taking a shot at Vancouver, because Vancouver's having a bad season, but I had to bring that up being a division opponent. But thanks for joining the stream. Vancouver's having a bad season. They're rebuilding, but I was just saying the Ducks need wins against teams like that, and Vancouver beat them last time, and that hurts postseason hockey. Brooke says, I am a Ducks fan from Michigan. Awesome, Brooke. That is awesome. I'm glad you are tuning in too. It's pretty late over there. So that is a dedicated Ducks fan checking in from Michigan, because again, it's 2 or 3 hours ahead. And that's it's pretty late to watch the Ducks. But I guess if you've been off for that long And you've been on here before, Brooke. We've seen you on here too. So again, big ups to you over there in Michigan. Landon says, I was at the last home playoff Ducks game in 2017 Western Conference Finals, and I want to go to another one this year in the Ducks' first appearance since 2017. Well, if they get that far, that's great. But again, you got to think of one thing right now, and where the Ducks are, unless they go on an incredible run, you're looking at a team where they're probably going to wind up against Dallas or Colorado in the first round. And they've played, Colorado really tough. I'll say that. Now the Stars are a different story, but again, anything can happen in the postseason. Boo Bear's mommy says it's almost as if the Ducks are doing their best to give Anaheim something to cheer about. And I think they are. And I'm sorry about that right there. One thing's perfect. He says we are terrible. He's talking about the Vancouver Canucks. Your day will come again, my man. Your day will come again. But again, when it comes to the Ducks, I think they've done, if you're an Anaheim fan in general, SoCal fan, whatever, they've done everything right. Whereas the dumbass across the street of Catella has done everything wrong. From the stadium falling apart, from the, no rebrand, to just saying that safety first and all this other stupid crap, not pouring money into the team, the narrative in the media about, Artie spends, but he doesn't spend right. He's wasted a ton of money on bullshit. And when you've controlled the team and you haven't moved guys like Ohtani and getting a haul for the guy instead of letting him walk, and not putting anything around Trout, never buying pitching, never giving faith into the people running the organization. Look at the Ducks rebrand. We're Orange County. We're not LA. They literally told you that. The Samuelis are like, look, we want to make things better in the Anaheim area. We're going to bring jobs here. We're going to bring living accommodations here for people. We're going to bring shops here. We're going to do a lot of things. We want an eventual river walk. We're going to pay for it all. All we ask for is the city to help us do it, not financially, but with their jobs. We love the city of Anaheim. The Samuelis are worth like $41 billion, 10 times the amount. No, well, yeah, 10 times or more than what freaking Artie is. And they were like, hey, we'll work with Artie, just have him chip in a little bit. He doesn't want to. So the difference between the two organizations is night and day. The Ducks are on the ascension. They're ascending for sure. And the Angels are just stuck in neutral, man. It's almost like if the transmission's not working for the Angels. But the Ducks are this beautiful, brand new car, just fresh off the lot. And it's like, man, you're just thinking, if you see that car as a teenager, you're like, man, I could do so much with that car. I can impress so many people. They're it looks so awesome. That's what it looks like. And then you got the jalopy, which is the Angels, where it starts, but then it never finishes and it just sticks. So it's a very mid car, it's a really, I don't know. It's an Altima maybe with a bumper falling off and the transmission not working. Air conditioner never works. Only the heater comes on. I mean, the radio doesn't work. So there's a lot of analogies I can go. I'm probably slaughtering it, but either way, you get the point. The Ducks aren't that new shiny car like they used to be back in the day. And they haven't been that for a long time. Whereas the Ducks are just ascending. That's just beautiful, either that or their old car that's been repainted. And it's just, I don't know why I'm using car analogies. All I'm saying is the Ducks just have a better position than the Angels. Absolutely. Also, Sackman says we need the Ducks back in the Stanley Cup again. It would be their third time if they got there. Rex says, oh, snap, laugh my ass off. Yeah, it was the thong night. J Ram says your hockey IQ has gone up since the beginning of the season. Also, your enthusiasm has gone up. It sure has. Like I did, J Ram. I've always known hockey. It's just like I didn't know how to approach it. So when we started this show this year, I was not, and it's hard bouncing like doing the post game for the Angels is easier because I just, I just get my information out there or just portray to you, the listener, the watcher, of how I viewed the game personally, and it's raw reaction. And I'm like, you know what? Why am I changing that up for the Ducks? I should just be myself. But then there's times where I'm on here with Dom. And by the way, happy birthday, Dominic. I should have said this in the beginning of the show, but Dominic's birthday was tonight, so he's out with family. So he would have been here tonight. He's usually on here with me and we do podcasts and post games. That guy's Catella Chronicles. So if you want to follow him, I suggest, if you love hockey and Angels baseball, he covers it just like we do on Heedy. But shout out to Dominique. Happy birthday to you, my man. Another year older, my friend. I know all about that. But point being, I appreciate that, J Ram. It's just I just when I'm by myself, I could kind of like give you a little bit more where it's back and forth, and you kind of look at it through two broadcasters instead of the one. And sometimes I feel like I can word things better or express myself better. I don't know. But I do love doing the shows with Dom, because Dom gives me that other feel of, bouncing ideas off of each other, or just getting his viewpoint, seeing if it aligns with mine. And then there's certain things that he brings up that I didn't even think about, and vice versa. I love doing a show with Dom. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I'm able to get into, more pure rants, and he is too, because I've heard him and he sounds different without me too. So either way, it works out. And we're going to be covering the Ducks all the way to the last time the Ducks are, available to play, whether they win the Stanley Cup, like, some of you guys, like our boy Landon thinks tonight, or if they get eliminated in the postseason. Either one I'll take, obviously, because just getting back to the postseason is amazing. Tyler says that thong was not safe or affordable. Yeah, it sure cost me some stuff, but not as much as I thought. I thought I would be canceled. Also, Boo Bear's mommy says, don't forget about taking off your shirt. That's right. I showed nipples too. That was not the greatest season last year, and that showed us. Nothing's Perfect says, we want you to beat us. We have accepted tanking for McKenna. And you know what? I would love for you guys to get him. Vancouver needs a hard reset, and McKenna would help them out big time. And believe me, we would love for you guys to give us those wins, because we could use them down the stretch. We got to get better positioning. I really don't want to face a team like Colorado, but it's looking like that as we get closer to the postseason. J Ram says, I'll be flying in from Texas if they make it to the playoffs. I don't care if my wife is in labor when it happens. Now that is definitely dedication. Nothing's Perfect says, no offense taken, we hate our team more than anyone. Oh shit. Also, Landon says, it looks like the Ducks will face the Golden Knights or the Oilers in the first round of the playoffs. If that happens, I do like the Ducks' chances. I really do. Especially how they played tonight against the Oilers. We have one more game with them next month, almost a full month from now, and we'll see how we line up when that game takes place. Landon also says the Angels analogy where they start but don't finish, is that a comparison to what happens to you? Ha ha ha. Saw you right there. And if you knew, if that was the case and you knew about that, then either my girl's telling you too much information, or how the hell do you know, you peeping Tom? Let's get to the 3 stars of the game, shall we, before we finish off the comments? So 3 stars of the game, I'll give it to you quick and fast, just how Landon thinks I do it in the bed, apparently. I'll give it to Beckett Seneca. He'll be my 3rd star of the night, because he's doing his best impression of a rising star, and he's making his own name, and he's going out there doing the little things to help the team win, also putting out the hard hits. He's doing a little bit of everything. If ever there was a 5-tool hockey player, he's the guy. He's the dude that's going out there. He's making all the plays. He's also saying, don't fuck with my guys either, and he's sticking up for them. Again, he had the Edmonton Oilers pissed tonight, as he was definitely the enforcer, but he also showed you that he could score tonight. So he gets my 3rd star. 2nd star of the game would be Matt Savini, or Savine, or whatever the hell you say. He had 3 points tonight, 1 goal and 2 assists. He was definitely a thorn in Dostal's side tonight. And then I have to give it to Uncle Leo. Uncle Leo's returned officially to the Ducks lineup, playing really good tonight. He was all over the place as well, making the little plays like Beckett Seneca, which really don't make the stat sheet as far as cross-checking or breaking up odd man rushes, or getting the puck out of the blue line or clearing it or just getting good passes, outlets, everything. You name it, he did it tonight, including scoring a goal tonight and getting a couple assists. So it was nice to see Uncle Leo back in the scorecard tonight. Those are my 3 stars tonight. And if I got to give a Hoser Award, well, let's give the Hoser Award to someone who deserves it. You know, how can you not give it to a bitter Canadian? No offense to my Canadian fans out there or Canadian people out there. But when it comes to the Olympics and everything else like that, all I heard from the national media or from the Canadian media was the better team did not win. And you heard that even on the women's side. On the women's side, they were just like, the Americans are good, but they're not Canadian good. They don't deserve to win. And the fact that they won on a fluky goal of the women, I mean, what an amazing goal in overtime, right? And then and then when the men did it, oh, that was fluky. They shouldn't have got it. 3-on-3 hockey sucks, blah, blah, blah. And they start attacking the rules. So when fans do that, I'm not just throwing the Canadians out there because that happens in the NFL. It happens in the NBA. The losing team in a championship game will find something wrong with the rules, something wrong with the refs, something wrong with, I guess, the stadium, or bring up a superstition or say it's fixed just to help themselves cope. And for the hockey players to do that, I'm kind of disappointed because in all actuality, hockey has the best sportsmanship as far as the handshake at the end of a series, as far as just overall, like you see more sportsmanship in hockey, even though it's a really rough sport. At the end of the day, they're able to bash each other's head in and still shake each other's hand while skating out and their legs about ready to give out because they played such a hard fought game, physical game. But you could tell the Canadians were really pissed off and did not like getting that silver medal. And in the media, it was just Cope City, man. It was Cope City. And Connor McDavid was one of the captains of Canadian hockey this year. He was also Canadian captain, Canadian Cope. He was CCC because that's all he could do was cope. And in the comments, it was just like, hey, the better team did not win, blah, 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 blah. Excuse, excuse, excuse. He was driving the excuse train going, woo, woo. And that's what he was doing. So, it is what it is. Connor McDavid, again, I will say this, over the last 2 years, I am one of those fans that actually did want the Oilers to win a Stanley Cup for 2 reasons. That franchise hadn't really been established or that good since the days of way back of having Wayne Gretzky and all his boys there and them actually winning a lot of Stanley Cups, number one. I like the Edmonton Oilers logo. I like the, and number 2, it is time, and it has been time for a Canadian team to win a goddamn cup. They've been close a couple times, but you haven't seen one for years. So, yes, I mean, decades at this point. So, I was rooting for, I mean, come on, does Florida really deserve a Stanley Cup? Well, I guess they do. They won 1 or 2, but, it's sort of like, I would have thought by now, Edmonton, a Canadian team would have won. Canada does deserve a title, as I thought this year in my hatred for the Dodgers. Even if another American League team, National League team, I guess anybody could have made the World Series for the National League, and Toronto's team was fun to watch. They were an easy team to root for. I wanted Canada to win. I was the same way when the Raptors went. A lot of fans weren't really rooting for the Raptors. They hate Drake. Drake had nothing to do for it for me. I liked Kawhi Leonard at the time, and I thought, man, it would be cool if he won another title with a different team and bring home a NBA title to Canada. And with that being their only team, it would have been awesome. And they did. They got it done. So it's not like I hate Canada. I really don't. I just don't like the coping. I don't like the excuses. If your team loses, just, hey, tip your cap, show some respect. If you want to say it didn't go the way we wanted to go, fine, so be it. If you want to, I much rather them blame the refs or something like that than just say, hey, you know what, we had more talent. How do you know? If you had more talent, you should have won. And then you can go back and say coulda, woulda, shoulda all you want. The goalie made an awesome play. You missed the open net like few times. Americans didn't exactly cash in all their chips either. There was a lot of hockey they left out there too. They missed some open shots. They had some opportunities. Who knows? It could have been 5-1 Canada. It could have been 5-1 USA. So I think in those kind of situations, you just got to just roll with it and say, yes, it really did hurt the country. We really wanted to bring this home for the country, but it just didn't happen. And just get over it. Don't look like the bitter side, man. It's terrible. Let's see. Also, let's get back to finishing up these comments right here. You got Rex saying Ducks are the Angels between 1999 and 2005. This whole thing has to be capped off with a Cup's final appearance. Not really a win, just got to show that we can hang. And here's the thing. I think you can do it. I think you can win a cup. I think that there is an opportunity. Dominique has said, the birthday boy, when he's on here, has said that the window is starting to open. And you look at the talent that we have in San Diego. You look at the talent we have on this team. This is a young ass roster. I mean, and it is a very talented roster. So there could potentially be some very good seasons to come for your Ducks, and I'm looking forward to it. Happy birthday indeed. Jesus says, you're learning, Todd. J Ram says, what do you think about Joe Kelly being an honorary guest tonight? Yeah, exactly. No one wants to see that jerk. Landon says, I'm just glad Ducks hockey is going strong and football season's over. I'm not, Landon. My Seahawks are Super Bowl champions. Nothing is perfect. Got to run. Keep up the good work. See you March 24th. Have an awesome night, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, One Thing's Perfect. And let's see, Landon's already calling that the Kings won't make the postseason. Demetrio says he got bodied by Rensky and didn't own it. Yes, McDavid did. Also, Rex says people want to act like Canadian players flocking to American NHL teams isn't a problem, but Stanley Cup winners keep pointing towards a pattern. Well, it is what it is, man, Rex, and that is the name of the game. Sometimes money talks. You might, and again, I'll tell you this, Rex, that is true. And you will look at a team like Anaheim, which has not been a destination for free agents. You just watch what happens after the Ducks make a playoff run. Just watch what happens when they get to the postseason and the season ends with them either winning the cup, like Landon says, or if they just get to the postseason and have a good run. Everything's established. A good young core. Coach Q's coming back. Verbeek's in charge. We got more rookies coming. I mean, this is going to be fun. Free agents are going to flock here or even ask to come here. It's going to be great. Dimitri also says, I hope that we get the Avs in the first round so we could taunt McKinnon. Also, Landon, you got to put some respect on my team. I'm not going to allow that. You got to put some respect on that. Seahawks won. You talked a lot of crap, Landon, on the baseball show. You're like, when's the last time they were to the playoffs? Well, the Seahawks showed you. They won the fucking Super Bowl. My team, baby. My team won the Super Bowl. So I'm fresh and happy off of that. If the Ducks give me some playoff hockey, hell yeah, I'll be happy for that too. Now I just got to get the Angels to get their act together. God damn it. So that's our show for tonight. An exciting one to kick off the second half of the season. Stay tuned for our show on Friday. We will be back on here to talk more Ducks hockey after another game. As let's run through the schedule real quick together. We do have some games to talk about here in March real quick because the Ducks and the Mighty Ducks Club have some shows that are going to be on the road, and we're going to be part of them doing some watch parties when the Ducks are on the road, and we hope to see you there. We'll have more details coming up. It'll be March 10th, 12th, and 15th. But for right now, let's take care of that homestand, shall we? We got the win tonight. We got Winnipeg on Friday. We got Calgary on Sunday. The Avs come to town on Tuesday. We got the Islanders on next Wednesday. And then next Friday, we got the March 6th, Montreal. And then March 8th, St. Louis. The watch party games will be against Winnipeg on the 10th. The Toronto Maple Leafs on the 12th, and the Ottawa Senators. No, we're actually skipping that one. It'll be March 15th at Montreal. It'll be 3 different places you can come watch us and watch the game with us on the road. So I'll have details on that as we get closer to that. Let's see. Also, Jesus said the Canadian media is brutal. Many players now go to small market teams, which is weird, Jesus, that you'll see some guys go to Columbus because I think Columbus should be contracted. Rex says, "Yeah, I went down to Slam Diego, to see the goals with my own eyes, and they are genuinely an extension of the Ducks. Unlike our bumbling Angels farm system, is in very good hands." I will say this though, Rex. Check out the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. I did like their team last year in San Bernardino. They do have a lot of heart. We do have a lot of good players coming through that single A affiliate. They'll eventually make it to Rocket City. So we'll see what happens there. If you could pick one Super Bowl game, 7 World Series, or game 7 NHL Finals, if you could pick one, Capsule says. I would have to say NHL and MLB are very, very close as number one. But since I experienced both, I think I experienced the, as you may have too, the heart wrenching loss in Game 7 to New Jersey. That one was tough. The intensity was high, but I think nothing breaks that 2002 Angels World Series where the comeback just to get there and the euphoria of winning and lifting that proverbial monkey off your back, getting that World Series title, that was huge. And experiencing now in my lifetime 4 Super Bowls, one that was taken away by the refs in 2005, fuck the Steelers. And then when we won and beat the crap out of the Broncos, that was amazing, but that was not contested at all. We blew them out. Then basically giving a Super Bowl away was really stupid and very gut wrenching. And then to win this year in a dominating performance, again, Super Bowls are great. They're exciting. It's one and done, but I have to give it a little bit to baseball because there's so much behind the game as far as strategy, and there's highs, there's lows. I mean, look at this year's World Series with the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. I hate the Dodgers. And even though they won the World Series, it was one of the most epic World Series in my lifetime. And, Connor Falefa, if he takes a lead at all and gets a genuine lead at all, the Blue Jays win the freaking World Series. And it's an amazing upset of a juggernaut cheating team being the Dodgers. But that's just my opinion on it. So I'd have to go baseball, hockey, and then the Super Bowl. I really would. That's my long-winded answer, Capsule. Also, Landon says, Todd, you're going to be at the Angels watch party. Yes, I am. I'm going to be doing some Angels stuff coming up soon. We're going to be doing some World Baseball Classic on here. So if you're into USA, we're going to be doing a lot of their stuff. As far as post-game stuff, as the tournament gets going, they're doing the the practicing right now in spring training. So I'm thinking it's next week sometime it gets going in pool play. So we'll start doing that. And then as far as the Angels are concerned, we're going to have the second game of the season in Houston, a watch party at Noble. We'll have food there and discounted drinks, some giveaways. It should be fun. I couldn't do the opening day there, so that one will most likely be on our own or whatever. Hopefully the Angels have a TV contract, those idiots, by that time. And then as far as the homestand, I have a lot of details to get into that. The second game of the season, which is a Saturday under the Big A, we will have Mezzo's Wings in attendance under the Big A. They're going to be cooking up food specials for you guys, 2-for-1 baskets of wings, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of goodies. We'll have onion rings, French fries, drinks, you name it. It should be fun. Giveaways there too as we kick off the Angels 2026 season. So we have a lot of shit to be done and a lot of fun to be had as both Ducks and the Angels, whether, hey, it is what it is, right? W answered, thank you right there. Capsule also says Angels is your heart, Anaheim Ducks is your soul, and the Seahawks is your spirit. I love that. I love that. I love that. That is so cool, man. I don't know what you would put the Sonics up in there, but the Sonics were my basketball team. I'm not a Lakers fan, not a Clippers fan. Went to my first Sonics game when they had Gary Payton and Sean Kemp at the Key Arena. Fell in love with them first and stuck with them. And when they got stolen, just watch sonicsgate.com on YouTube. It explains it all if you don't know the story. But when they went, even if they get a new team, I am not going to root for the Sonics. I'm done with basketball. I hate the way the game's played. I hate the Players Association. When I play basketball, when I play pickup and all that stuff, I mean, it's disgusting how everyone's just ticky tack. No one's physical. Everyone shoots threes just like the NBA. It's pretty lame in my mind. Basketball has really fallen off. And it's all linked to the pencil neck geek, Adam Silver. That guy has ruined basketball. Sorry, I just get into these rants. Ducks should have gotten Scotty Stevens, should have been ejected, or should have, and Scotty Stevens should have been ejected after his dirty hit on Paul Correa. It saddens my heart, Landon, that Correa didn't win one with Solani. And I know Solani won one here in the latter stages as that veteran Ducks team got it done. But man, oh man, oh man. I really wish they would have won the Ducks, Stanley Cup with that logo. The other one was great too, just the fact they won the Stanley Cup. But damn, I really wanted that one against Jersey. That was a really good series. Landon also says, how many years will it be before the Seahawks make another Super Bowl? Next year. Next year, we're going back. This team is there. This team's window's just opening up. So, Landon, you can hate all you want. The Seahawks are going to be good for some time to come. Jesus says, hope to catch an Angels game with you one of my trips down south. If you do, Jesus, I'll be around 260. That's for sure. Or at the game, you'll see me in a clown outfit, whatever, because the Halo honk is going to be large in charge this year. Capsule says, Sonics is your ex-girlfriend. That is true. I like that. I like that a lot. Man, you're coming up with some good ones there, Capsule. So we went a little longer than we should have. We usually go between 35 and 45 minutes on these hockey post games, but tonight there's a lot to dig into. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of back and forth with you, the fans, and we got to keep it going. And I appreciate everybody coming on here and supporting us on Halos in the Infield. We're jumping up in numbers. So if you haven't subscribed, I really would appreciate you do so, because a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon. It's good. And we're in our 5th year, and we've done a lot of good things. A lot of the crew, hats off to everybody. Hats off to Dominic, the birthday boy. Yeah, Rob, Fernando, James, Big Game James. We got Cowboy Vince. We got some new players in the field with Halo Joe, and you got Josh from Substack, and you got our boy from overseas who's been taking care of us too with Substack. So we've done a really good job here establishing this network, and we're looking to give you a lot more content as the Ducks continue to win. That's always good. It would be great if the Angels played like this into the new year and gave us something to cheer about too, because we haven't had too much to cheer about. But either way, when it was the dog days of August and September, you guys stuck with us. So we're going to stick with you and stick with the team and keep reporting, keep giving you a scoop on the Angels and the Ducks. And good night, Capsule. And Rex right there. Thanks for streaming, man. This is a solid production. I appreciate you, Rex. Tell a friend. That always helps us out. Word of mouth. We are not an LLC. So anybody that comes across our little dog and pony show or the podcast in general, we'd love to give ups to you when you help us out there. And that's why we give back to the community. Every dollar we make on here, we put it back into the show and to our events. So with that being said, everybody have a good rest of your night. It's late out there. The Ducks get the win, 6-5. Hails to the yeah. We will see you Friday.